Welcome to the Multi-Cloud Whiteboard Enablement. In this session, I'll position an interactive approach to telling the BMC story of how we answer the typical customer challenges that are seen when embarking, developing, or optimizing their multi-cloud strategy. Use this as a guide to build your own compelling whiteboard sessions and ensure that they're aligned to the customer challenges. Introduce characters along the way to make it memorable, as I will do so in this session. And first, we start the story with the CIO. And the CIO is being challenged by the CEO to use IT to deliver on his objectives. And those are to drive bottom line growth for the business, improve shareholder value, and deliver new customer acquisition. To do this, Mr. CIO knows he needs to deliver innovative new services to his customers, reduce the overall cost of IT to the business, and provide service assurance on the currently offered services. Historically, however, Mr. CIO has been slow to provide those new and innovative services to his customer base. And this is partly because of the management of large and complex applications in his data center. And lines of business are procuring new cloud-based services for their customers. They might be provisioning services on AWS, Azure, or others, because the customers are screaming out for innovation. And this is compounded by the fact that the CIO's budget is being cut in half. But he still needs to manage the services that are being delivered to the customers, because after all, he's accountable to the objectives of the business. He's also having to manage the apps, even in some cases mainframe infrastructure, but he has no visibility of the complex ecosystem of services that he's providing his customers. This is also compounded by the fact that there's been a recent acquisition of a similar organization with its own data center. And Mr. CIO knows that the multi-cloud strategic approach is the only option to drive the business's desired outcomes. And he believes that it provides the platform for delivering innovative apps at lower cost. And as an output of all that complexity is, as the CEO puts it, the gold dust, the data that the enterprise has about its services, its customers, and the CEO is asking questions. Do we have the visibility of that data? Are we using the data to drive service improvement and new innovation? How are we innovating? Are we using DevOps best practices to drive incremental service improvements? After all, this team is still reeling from the last app release, which missed its release window by 8 weeks because of policy violation in the build. And on our journey, we are ensuring that we're keeping the lights on. Are we providing our service assurance? Do we have an understanding of the service supporting assets and the current user experience? Can we drill right down into the line of code that's being run to understand what's causing a user experience issue on the website? But most importantly of all, can we get a view of the social sentiment of the service we're providing our customers? Everything might be green from an asset perspective and experience perspective. On our monitoring, on the social feeds, people are complaining. There are many challenges for our CIO that need to be addressed. First of which, how do I plan for my move to multi-cloud? Do I understand the critical services that I need to move into the new world? Do I understand my capacity requirements, perhaps the cost of any move? And how am I provisioning new services in this world? Second is, am I delivering to my risk promise? Do I understand my vulnerabilities? Are the new services that I'm going to offer going to adhere to policy and compliance rules of the business? Finally, how do I gain insight into my data to drive digital innovation? Let's talk about the ticking time bomb. We need to be out of the data center in 6 months. We need to understand what we have. We need to understand it quickly. We need to have a plan put in place for our move to cloud. And with Discovery, we can help you map all of your assets in the data center to understand how each application is related. We can plan for the cloud confidently in order that we can retire and consolidate assets by understanding dependencies and business impact. We can start mapping from any piece of information, software, hardware, network, or even storage. And we can improve security operations with inventory documentation to meet compliance requirements. We can understand license utilization or storage capacity to reduce compliance and capacity risk. So we've understood what we have, actually, do I understand what the capacity requirements or the cost of the move is going to be? Can I gain insight and deploy apps on time? Can I capacity plan? Can I optimize cost to only invest in the resources that meet the service requirements? Here we're seeing a view of our capacity tools. We can look at what we have. We can drill down into the infrastructure at risk. I can undertake a what-if scenario on capacity requirements of the future cloud infrastructure. And really importantly here, what I can do is I can link capacity forecasts across multiple delivery models. So whether that be on-premise, cloud, hybrid, to define cost model scenarios. And I can adjust capacity dynamically across mixed environments to rapidly address the changing need of user demand and performance. But what about now how we broker, access, and provision those cloud services? Well, let's see how we can reduce infrastructure and support costs, reduce supplier management costs, and improve user experience by providing a self-service capability to activate new cloud services. Cloud Lifecycle Management is a cloud management platform that accelerates innovation through automated provisioning, governance, and management of secure cloud services. It gives users a self-service access to click and deploy simple VMs or full application services and stacks across multiple cloud environments. We can choose the application tier and sizing. We can link policies for regulatory and security compliance requirements, and these can be automatically applied to the service at time of provisioning. And the solution performs ongoing automation of patching, configuration, management, and remediation. We can also attach monitoring capability to the services as they're being provisioned, so we have that service assurance. And while we have an assurance on the services we can deliver, we also have an ability to report on the infrastructure, on the services that we're provisioning. Mr. CIO has visibility of how his services are constructed. He understands the future capacity and cost requirements for our pivot to multi-cloud. We have our service provisioning underway. He still needs to ensure, however, that the service he is delivering is secure and risk-free. He now needs to understand how vulnerable the platform is to threats that could lead to data breaches, and also to understand whether or not they are compliant against policy when building these new and innovative apps for their customers. The SecOps response service helps security and IT operations prioritize and remediate risks based on potential impact to the business. Our dashboard of vulnerabilities is taking feeds from vulnerability managers such as Qualys, Nessus, and it compares those with the discovered data, ensuring that we can target assets that may be unscanned and therefore more vulnerable. The solution facilitates greater collaboration between security and operations in being able to define remediation SLAs, and it allows the operator to prioritize by drilling down even into the critical business service that's at risk. And so from there, we can create operational activities for automated remediation via the BladeLogic Automation Suite. And all this with closed loop change in the background, ensuring that we have fully auditable change records and compliance to protect against vendor auditing. But there are two sides to the security story. Yes, we can take information from vulnerability managers, but what about the policies, compliance risk that we have to manage? With BMC SecOps Policy Service, we provide a cloud-based digital platform that tracks regulatory and security compliance by collecting, organizing, and analyzing high volumes of volatile IT business data in real time to meet the demands of web-scale IT. This comes complete with accurate analysis delivered with full visibility of all policy compliance violations across the multi-cloud environment, presented in an easy-to-consume dashboard. And with the SecOps Policy Service, we can reduce the cost of remediation early in the development lifecycle because we can compare new application builds with the vulnerability database to understand if any new libraries have been introduced into that build that have perhaps delivered more risk. Therefore, we can essentially roll back any new releases before we even get into the test phase. And as we get closer to pre-production, that's when the cost really spirals if you have to roll back any kind of application release. Mr. CIO is now confident that he has the right capabilities to manage risk across all of the services he is providing his customers in this multi-cloud world. With full understood service intelligence and provision of risk-averse services, the mind of the CIO now turns to the wealth of information held in their data repositories. And remember that vision of using the data to drive innovation and efficiency in the services that we're providing our customers. Let's now see how BMC complements big data solutions to enable its customers to drive scalable new services to their customers. And to show this, the financial analyst will be running a billing analysis of a complex service that spans multiple repositories, could be mainframe, ERP, and other sources. We will see how the process of automating workflows and correlating data from various sources will drive the desired outcomes for our user. The financial analyst opens up the digital workplace interface to running billing analysis through self-service. They are presented with a request that will provide automated fulfillment in the background, and I have an associated SLA with this particular request. It's as simple as selecting Submit. And what will happen through this process is that I will be informed of all the updates as we step through the fulfillment in my social timeline or through my mobile-enabled self-service interface. In the background, there's the complexity of the workflow happening. Let's now drill down into the billing analysis process as it's being run. And we're taking feeds from ERP, mainframe, using managed file transfer to pool all of that information into a big data lake to run business processes from it. And we note here that one of the processes is in a failed state. And this is fully integrated to TrueSight Operations Management, where we can send a notification of that service disruption to our network operations team or our operations center. But it might be that we just want to send a fully loaded ticket with all of the relevant information to our service management solution, enabling the analyst to look at all of that information and return service to our user or to our process so that we can make sure that our billing analyst has the information within the SLA. Once completed, billing analyst is notified of completion. And finally, we talk to service assurance. Are we keeping the lights on in this new world of delivering those applications? Are we delivering data-driven service innovation by exceeding user performance across private, public, and hybrid cloud environments? Are we able to use our service availability capabilities to improve the application response time, to reduce mean time to return service in an outage situation, and increase application user satisfaction and actually service satisfaction? With the TrueSight suite, we can deliver better service availability. We can proactively detect abnormalities and make use of machine learning to drive efficiency in the management of our services. We can deliver automated root cause analysis to pinpoint those problematic cloud resources and make use of advanced analytics. And we can use those analytics to detect and diagnose and drive benefits in delivering proactive problem management, drilling into the problem areas where we can identify candidates for automation. We can even go so far as to measure the social sentiment of our users by integrating with those social providers using the open APIs provided with the TrueSight Intelligence platform. Mr. CIO has been able to understand the critical services and their dependencies. He's been able to understand the capacity requirements and the cost for the move to the multi-cloud world. He's now able to provision those services. He's delivering on his risk promise with the SecOps response and SecOps policy services capabilities. And we're also able to drive digital innovation by leveraging the data, all the while being able to provide service assurance for the customer. Thank you for listening. We're seeing some great successes when presenting this type of material to our customers with some great feedback. Thank you.